Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm gonna show you my ranking of the most powerful and most playable hero card up to the least playable or slash worst hero Death Knight card. I hope you guys enjoy and let's get started. My number 9 goes to Valeera the Hollow. This is a very expensive Death Knight card. For 9 mana it is very greedy for the rogue class. First, playability, she can only be played in a very slow rogue versions like Miracle Rogue, just because of the usefulness in a deck. For example, you would never play this card in a aggressive tempo based rogue deck, just because it would be too slow and doesn't help you to fulfill the game plan of just killing your opponent very quickly. So you would play this in a Ends of deck or a Miracle deck. So would you play this in an Ends of deck? Not really. What this card does, or the purpose of this card, is just to give you additional greed, an insane amount of value, and she's extremely slow. Does a Jade Rogue Druid really struggle with value? I would say this is the last thing that an Ends of Rogue struggles with. So we would not really want to play her in that deck because we already play such a greedy deck. So playing this in a Miracle Rogue, this is where she's fitting the best. We will not play this really in a Malygos Rogue either, because we already play a 9 mana card, and this would be again way too greedy. Have you ever seen a rogue deck where we play so many multiple big minions in the same deck? Not really. So especially if we play Arcane Giants in the same deck, it would just be too greedy to play any late game finisher besides Valeera. She has no immediate impact on the board, and this is a good indication for all playable late game card. Every card that was playable that is very expensive, above 8 mana, has some sort of immediate impact on the board. Ragnaros had a chance to just kill the opponent's big minion. Enzov the Corruptor gives you usually a full board of minions, and some of them have taunt, so your opponent cannot just ignore your board and kill you. Khethun just has a high impact on the board. Tyrion, a very defensive card, and so on and so on. Just a lot of like defensive stats or immediate impact on the board, and Valeera doesn't have any of that. For a 9 mana card, that is just unacceptable, especially for rogue, where you have no comeback mechanics in terms of board clears, in healing. All she does, even though she is arguably the most powerful hero power in terms of value long term wise, she doesn't provide you any board control. You would just effectively die or lose the game before you get value out of this card. So this card, even though she can be powerful, is compared to the other hero classes the weakest one. My number 8 goes to Deathstalker Rexxar. One of the main reasons it is rated so low is because of the viability of the Hunter class right now. Hunter is one of the weakest classes in the game before Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion, and Frozen Throne expansion nothing seems to be changing, except with this card there's like mid-range hunter, secret hunter, and maybe a Zorf hunter, but they're not well tested enough. How much will this card impact on the class? It is definitely a good card. It is better than Valeera. It gives hunter things where hunter lacks. The first one is to deal 2 damage to the whole enemy's board, and hunter has like no good board clear whatsoever. So hunter is known for just when you're behind on board, or once you lose the board, you will just lose the game. And on top of it, it gives you a nice heal boost with the 5 armor, like every hero card does, and hunter lacks healing completely. We have something that heals us as a hunter, which is quite useful if you want to play like a slower mid-range hunter. But on the other hand, it contradicts with the curve. Hunter usually wants to play a Highman on 6. It is like one of the hunter's win conditions usually. You have the board and you play Highman on 6. So when you're ahead on the board, then the battle cry effect has like no use because you're ahead on the board. So you don't always just play the Rexxar on 6. Another thing is, it only impacts the board when you're behind, right? So it doesn't really give you a board like a Highmet would do. So it is really weird, and so effectively you can look at this card as a 6 mana consecration, and how good would that be? It's pretty bad, right? That late in the game my opponent usually has bigger minions than just 2 health minions on the board. So if I don't have a board, then this will probably not bring it back in the game, just because I don't get a board with the hero power, the battlecry effect, and the hero power. It's probably a very powerful hero power. It doesn't help me with an aggressive playstyle, so I would not play this card in an aggressive deck. So this also reduces the playability of the card. I can only really effectively use this card in a controlish deck, because it doesn't help me to burn down my opponent. It doesn't provide me tempo like Hyman would do in turn 6. And what does it really do? Not too much in an aggressive game plan. So in a defensive game plan, it just heals me for a little bit and gives me a 6 mana consecration. But the biggest and most important thing is it gives us the Zombiest hero power, which is quite powerful, but you basically pay always 2 mana extra on top of the hero power or the minion cost, just because we have to use the hero power to craft a zombie, which is still good value, but it is a tempo loss. So we will always lose tempo, and overall the card is not as powerful as all the remaining other hero cards, and this is why it deserves my number 8 spot. But still, in my opinion, better than the Rogue hero card. My number 7 goes to Malfurion the Pestilent. I would say this is the first of the really powerful hero Death Knight cards, and from now on every hero card is very powerful, and it was very hard to rank them. Consider all of these cards to be very powerful, but this card is weaker compared to the 6 remaining hero cards. So why is this on rank 7 and not higher? The reason for that is playability, I would say, and how much he actually boosts the power level of the decks you play him in, and how useful he is compared to other cards, and if you can just replace him or if he is irreplaceable. And when you think about it from that perspective, you realize quite fast that he's not played in that many decks. Like in all aggressive versions or aggro druid, you wouldn't play him just because he's too slow. In the decks you play him in, like Taunt Druid, Ramp Druid, and Colento Druid, however you want to call it, a newer archetype that he played, like he's kind of replaceable. Also in Khatoon Druid, he's fine if you're behind on board against aggressive deck. Yes, you get him out faster because you drew it with the ramp, but if you don't miss the ramp, you will still play it for 7 mana. But even if you ramp for 7 mana, if you're behind against the Murloc Paladin, which is by the way a quite popular aggressive deck right now, you play for 7 mana for getting 2/1/5 taunts on the board usually. You heal yourself for 5, and that is like really weak against aggressive decks. Like the 1/5 taunts, you have really bad synergy. So if you really want to make this card work, then you really want to build some sort of synergy deck around it, so as Colento did. But yeah, in like Ramp Druid or in Khatoon Druid, he was like completely replaceable. And on top of it, you didn't really want to hero power as a druid. When you have 8 mana, you want to play Primordial Drake. You know, when you have 10 mana, you want to play Infestation. I really saw myself just rarely abusing the hero power, even though it's so good. It's still, don't get me wrong, a powerful card. And even the Poisonous Spiders are not that powerful, you know, just because they can get easily removed. Sometimes you have your spots when you are ahead on board. This is where he shines the most. When you have, let's say, a taunt minion on the board, the opponent couldn't clear it, and then you hide the spiders behind the taunt minion, or you just get him out to have him up for free, then he's quite strong. But I think from the remaining 7 hero classes, I would put him on 7 just because of the overall power level. You can easily replace him for other cards in the playable decks, and he's not even played in that many different druid decks, even though he is relatively strong. My number 6 goes to Uther of the Ebon Blade. He's also one of the 3 Death Knight class cards that I've been playing also on stream for quite a bit. My personal experience was it felt like a good card, but you also noticed quite fast that this card has a very low impact on any board. So against aggressive decks, this card shines the most, I would say, just because of the healing. You can take out a relatively big minion and heal yourself for quite a bit, and this is what Paladin really wants to do. You want to stabilize with your late game cards against aggressive decks, and you get a weapon out which keeps healing you every turn. The biggest downside of this card is it interferes with Tyrion on curve. It goes well with Primordial Drake, but with Tyrion it's really bad. You play Tyrion 8, it dies, and then you override the Ashbringer. That's like the lowest value you can get. And effectively this card is a 9 mana 5/3 weapon with lifesteal that heals you also for 5 armor. So for 9 mana this is not what you're used to with cards like Ysera. The hero power can be nice, but when you think about it, we are entering turn 10 and then playing 2/2 tokens are not really the most impact. This is not vanilla Hearthstone where this was like huge. Now people just play crazy cards, and you can imagine we go on turn 2 hero power and a druid goes ultimate infestation, or our controller goes for Gul'dan and gets a full board, or other decks just go for Anzoth. It's not quite that easy to get 4 horsemen on the board. You never really expect to get the win through that effect. But yeah, the 2/2 tokens are really not that crazy. You don't have any good synergies with them. Another thing is the playability. I would say this is still a must-play card for Control Paladin and Anzoth Paladin, just because of the healing. And you have so many new weapons now that overall you play a lot of weapons, I would say. Also with the Lich King, Frostmourne that you can get, that the healing is quite useful overall. I would say it's a must play in Control Paladin and Anzoth Paladin, but you don't play it in aggressive decks. Low versatility. I would still think it boosts the class, the control aspect of the class by quite a bit, but it's not that powerful for 9 mana, so this fits perfectly for the number 6 spot. I think it is weaker than the 5 remaining classes. My number 5 spot goes to Frost Lich Jaina, and she was by far the hardest card to evaluate compared to the other hero cards in terms of power ranking, just because of the low amount of playability on the ladder. I faced this card not even once. I haven't played her once. All I know about this card is just from experiences of other players, also my own theory crafting. Compared to the other expensive hero cards, she has the potential to get the most value out of her hero power. If you can effectively finish off minions and get a water elemental with lifesteal, that is an insane amount of value. So this, you gain every time a card plus 2 mana value as well, so which is super powerful. She has a better hero power than Gul'dan if you can get repeatedly water elementals. You don't even have to get water elementals every turn, but around like every other turn, then she is super powerful and has by far the best hero power. Interesting is that she has also some sort of impact on the board with the water elemental and lifesteal, and she gives existing elementals on the board lifesteal. If you get her out when you have a board, she has a much bigger impact than when you're behind. But even when you're behind, she gives you at least something on the board compared to many of the other late game hero cards like Uther, for example, which just gives you a weapon. Another thing is she gives you another way to stabilize after ice block, or to heal yourself back up after ice block. I think just the combo potential and just potential of this card overall makes her so strong, at least in my opinion. I think she pushes the control mage archetype by a lot, and she fits in existing like medieval mage archetypes and burn mage archetypes, even elemental mage. And yeah, just her overall potential, the power level compared to the other hero cards. This is why she deserves my number 5 spot. Number 4 goes to Scourgelord Garrosh. It is a 8 mana hero card, and that is also probably the main reason why he deserves to be on number 4. It is a huge difference if a card costs 8 mana or 9 mana in Hearthstone. Not just because you can squeeze out an additional hero power on turn 10. You can play it feels like much faster than a 9 mana card. And from what I've heard from other pro players, they are having a lot of success with this card. This card fits in a lot of different archetypes. Another plus point for this card: you can play it in Tempo Warrior, you can play it in Exhaust Warrior, you can play it in Control Warrior. It gives you armor, which Warrior also benefits the most from compared to the other classes. You get a very powerful weapon, which helps you control the board, so immediate impact, which is another upside. And it doesn't just take out 1 minion, it can take out to 3 minions, and that is super powerful. I can imagine like you play this against an aggressive deck, You get a super powerful weapon, yet you just take out 3 smaller tokens or minions. It's super powerful, and you heal yourself at the same time, and you still have like charges left. So another plus point for this card is it doesn't interfere with the curve like other hero cards that are ranked lower, because the weapons that warrior has you usually play on turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and then on turn 8 you usually have no weapon equipped, and then this card fits perfectly in curve, helps you come back versus aggro, and on top of it you have insane synergies with the hero power. The hero power is not that powerful in terms of value. You pay 2 mana for a whirlwind effect, which is overpaying by 1 mana. But since warrior has so many great synergy cards and actually lacks with the rotations, but yeah, warrior lost more and more whirlwind effects over time, and then having like another way to just have a permanent whirlwind effect is super powerful, especially now with the Dead Man's Hand card, where you can shuffle back multiple executes and Sleep with the Fishes and cards like that in your deck. You can just have infinite board clear, so great synergies. And for now, this card very well deserves to be on the number 4 spot. And my top 3 starts with Bloodreaver Gul'dan. It is the most expensive hero card, and it is very similar to N'Zoth. But compared to a N'Zoth, you don't just get a full board of demons, you get 5 armor, and you get a much better hero power. One of the strongest hero powers out of all the hero cards. You deal 3 damage and you get free heal in return, so you basically use Bash, which was a warrior card that generates 3 armor and deals 3 damage to a target, for just 2 mana, which is super powerful, and you don't have to spend a card. So this card synergizes great with the overall Warlock game plan. So you tap, draw your entire deck. When you have almost no cards left, you can play him and get a much better hero power instead of just a completely useless hero power in late game. And you have an immediate impact on the board with just resummoning an entire board of demons. You have defensive demons with taunt as well in terms of Voidwalker and Felguards. And the N'Zoth effect healing, which Warlock lacks, and a better hero power. This very well deserves to be in the top 3, this card. It really pushes an archetype. Warlock was the bottom tier out of all 9 classes in Hearthstone before the expansion got released, and this card alone already pushes an entire archetype or an entire class on his back to playability. So this is why this card deserves to be on number 3. My number 2 goes to Shadowreaper Anduin, for now at least. The reason why I have this card as the 2nd strongest hero card in the game is not just because it costs 8 mana, and I told you guys earlier how big of a difference it is if a card costs 9 mana or 8 mana. I faced this card quite a bit on ladder and I got wrecked by it multiple times, and I can also see why. For now, this card is super powerful before people come up with the more refined lists of the other decks. This card sees the most play in Kazakus or Highlander Priest, how we like to call it, and man, it is just so powerful if you hit the curve. If you hit the Rexxar on 5, this new hero power costs 0 mana, and people can abuse this hero power so easily from what I've seen, and you are always so scared to just get killed by it. Just as an example, if your hero power costs 0 mana, you can play Prophet Velen and Mind Blast for a 20 damage combo. 2-card combo! It's crazy! It's super powerful, and to get this card out is very easily. You wipe an entire board. It fits perfectly in a Highlander Priest because you have to cut a copy of Dragonfire Potion and a copy of Shadow Wheel Death, and this card helps you to just clear an opponent's board. And it heals you again, and if you have tempo with Priest, it helps you maintain the tempo because you kill the opponent's entire turn. And it gives you a very scary and a very powerful hero power. In practice, I got wrecked multiple times by this card. I haven't played this card myself yet, but from what I've seen, it seemed to be by far one of the most powerful hero cards and deserves my number 2 spot. My numero 1 goes to Thrall Deathseer. In my opinion, the currently most powerful hero card. 5 mana hero card, it gives you 5 armor like every other hero card. This card is so powerful because I've played it myself in so far only Jade N'Zoth Shaman, and in my opinion you can play this card in every single Shaman archetype. This card is playable on curve, you can play this card in late game. The flexibility of this card is insane. This card can be a win condition in every single deck. When you play against the slower deck and with just a bunch of tokens on board, you can out of nowhere double battle cry and just get an unremovable board that just wins you the game. It gives you something where a shaman currently lacks: healing. In some classes the 5 armor has more value than in other classes, like in shaman for example. In druid it has not that much value because druid has already great healing and or armor gain, and shaman really wants good armor gain even in control decks. I think you can just play this in every card. I've played this in a Jade deck. You can evolve the Jade main bodies just because they have underwhelming stats, or when you trade something then you can indirectly heal a minion and make it even more powerful. Sometimes with this battle cry effect I got Tyrions, which works towards your own N'Zoth. It's just so powerful, and this card fits perfectly in a token shaman, which is an existing tier 1 deck from Ungoro. Just so many different decks you can play this card in, and it is cheap. For 5 mana, very powerful effect. Like the hero power is super powerful and the battle cry effect is just super insane. There's a lot of decks where you just don't need the shaman totem hero power and then you get like a really much better hero power. Super flexibility, very cheap mana cost on a hero card, and just overall I would say this is like the most powerful hero card for now. So this was my top 10, almost top 9 ranking of the power level and playability of the hero cards of Knights of the Frozen Throne. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always, and tomorrow I'll be back with another deck tech video. Thank you guys so much for watching and see you guys tomorrow. Peace!